Hey, this is Divinity Rose with Anvil Grey, and you're watching G1NBC.TV in Louisville, Kentucky.
Me and Matt was riding in his Explorer the other day, and what was that saying song, Matt? Sure, do you believe in love? Remember that?
Do you believe in life after love?
Yeah, then we're going to put a recorder.
My name's Matt Menifee. I'm the singer for Anvil Grey. I've been singing since my early teen years. I used to sing bass in a choir at church, and just kind of transitioned on into bands. Tyler Brandenburg and myself used to be in a band called Killing Hill, and we had some good times, some bad times, and the band eventually broke up. And he called me a couple months later, letting me know that he had found another project and invited me along to sing with them. Some of my musical influences range pretty much across the board. You could find me listening to Alice in Chains, to Fugazi, or Rancid, Operation Ivy, just about anything really.
Hey, this is recording. Is it getting down there?
You'd be jacking it right now. Nobody be the wiser.
All right, let's continue. This is Robert Brandenburg, lead guitar and rhythm guitar. I've been playing guitar since freshman year. So about going on 7-8 years, something like that. I really wasn't taught or anything. It's just mostly magazines, books, internet, stuff like that. Actually, I first started out wanting to play drums, and because I heard Pantera, and well, I mean, obviously drums don't have a volume knob on it, so I had to, get something that had that. And I took a sudden interest in Dimebag Darrell, and it's just taken off ever since. That's when I first really started getting into metal. Was I started playing and listening to Pantera, and then with Slayer and heavier stuff like Cannibal Corpse and everything. So Kerry King and Zakk Wylde and even Jimi Hendrix have a little effect on my playing. I hooked up with Anvil Grey about a year and a half ago. Me and Matt was doing some stuff about three months prior to that. And we kind of split ways and started looking for other stuff, and that's when I found Chris and Nick, and I went out and jammed with them for a little bit, and I told them I had a singer that was interested and was looking for something, and he came out here, and here we are now.
That's why we have to play on a Get Max.
I'm putting that on the website.
My name's Nick Johnson, bass player for Anvil Grey. Been playing bass for about 12 years now. Got my first bass on my 16th birthday. I started playing bass because my buddies all played guitar and we wanted to form a band, and nobody could find a bass player anywhere, so I said, why not, I'll do it. And basically I was self-taught and just learned everything by listening and just whatever. Anvil Grey started out with me and Chris years ago. Me and him had ads online looking for a metal band, and we met a guy named Chuck. Chuck was kind of out there. He was kind of this noise guitar player, and it didn't last very long. But me and Chris ended up hooking up afterward with a few other guitar players until we found Tyler, and Matt is the singer. Some of my influences, Megadeth was a big one on me, Metallica was a good one, Tool, and going back to the Metallica reference, Cliff Burton was just a huge influence.
Happy Spot.
Oh, come on.
Why does it smell like peaches? Dude, somebody stole Tyler and replaced him with that person.
Oh my God.
Just what I wanted in my interview. My name is Chris. I'm a guitar player for Anvil Grey. I've been playing guitar since the summer of 1989. I was inspired to play guitar because I started with classical piano and progressed to various different instruments in between keyboard, and then I played a little bass, and then all of a sudden I was enabled to play the guitar and picked it up and haven't looked back since.
Next we'll discuss my influences and things like this.
You can discuss the ADD in the band.
My name is Chris Nye. I'm the drummer for Anvil Grey. I started playing in the summer of 1993. The Metallica live album had come out, and we had watched it on MTV, actually. And from that point on, I knew that I wanted to start drumming. So I bought my first pair of sticks, and I actually learned how to drum at a church. I joined a church band, and actually I followed the drummer there and learned some rudiments. Went up to toured Korea in the Army, played in a band there for a little while, came to Louisville, and for the next 7 years, from 1997 to about 2004, I played in cover bands. Influence-wise, I was heavily influenced by Lars Ulrich from Metallica, obviously. The Metallica live set that came out was what inspired me to pick up sticks. From there, I've gotten to experience a few different drumming styles. Actually, the guitarist I worked with in Korea was a big Slayer fan. It was my first induction into that type of metal, the harder stuff, and Dave Lombardo kind of influenced my direction from there. While in Anvil Grey, I've explored a lot of other different patterns. One of the things about Anvil Grey is we are not like all the other metal bands in town. We play an older style. And I started looking at some of the other more contemporary drummers who weren't necessarily metal drummers, and I got into Neil Peart and learned some of what he was doing, picked up on some of the patterns he was doing. I liked those a lot, and actually added a set of electronic drums to my acoustic kit for the sound effects, and just to be able to venture off into other areas that you can't do with an acoustic kit. So style-wise, it's more of a groove type drumming, as opposed to the heavy double bass slam attack of a lot of the metal drummers in town. It's by no means death metal. Since I moved here in '97, I looked to get into a metal band. That was pretty much what I wanted to do, but the drummers in town, or the bands in town, wanted drummers that were playing the death metal style, and that's not where I came from. I grew up on AC/DC and Metallica and Megadeth and Pantera and that kind of stuff, and there was those aren't really death metal type bands, and that's what I wanted to play. So in 2004, I hooked up with Nick. We met in this guy named Chuck's basement, and we formed a little ragtag trio, you could call it. But that didn't work out. And we've tried out a few people since then, but for the most part, from 2004 on, I actually got to start playing the music that I wanted to play. And it was the summer of 2005 where we hooked up with Tyler and Matt, and we formed the band Anvil Grey.
Is just unreal. The adrenaline rush is so big that you really can't put it to words.
Being on stage, to me, it's fun, and especially when everybody, the crowd gets into it more, that makes me go, even more. And I just feed off, if they're not doing anything. I'm still going to be giving a performance, but the more energetic they are, you're going to see a lot more energy out of me.
My favorite part about being in Anvil Grey is when the music is perfect and we're all sitting there and we all come together. It's a magical feeling, and when we're up on stage, it's just, you can tell when we're having a really good night, the energy and the people that are watching us, the energy just increases, and it's just an amazing feeling all around. The favorite show that I've played so far would definitely have to be the Power Man Flaw show that we did on March 11th at Headliners. There was 900 people in the room all screaming and shouting, and it was a very fun time.
Yeah, it's my favorite show too, because that right there showed us that what we are doing is right. We had 900 people sold out on their feet screaming and chanting our name. People hadn't seen us necessarily before because they're not really the death metal fans who go to the death metal shows that we happen to play. These are a different set of fans who are into the more harder rock metal, and when they saw us, they went nuts. And as we walked off the stage that night, to hear a sold-out 900 crowd chant your name, especially after all the things we had been through with the doubting ourselves and where we're where we're going to be. I mean, that really showed us that what we are doing is right, and what we are doing.
Hey, we gotta take off. Thanks for being so badass. All right.